Well, Kevin McCarthy secured enough votes, it looks like, to be the next Speaker of the House, since the Republicans now have that chamber. He has said that he is going to bar Congressman Swalwell, Schiff, and Omar from serving on various committees, which is not, by the way, he's not the first one to do that. Nancy Pelosi did exactly the same thing.
Yeah, when you're talking about finding specific people to go after, I think going after the ones who are the ones that are the most egregious in terms of their bias, egregious in terms of the rhetoric, makes total sense. I was thinking it helps McCarthy actually get a little cred going into this, because I think people were concerned about how he was going to be. So now you go into this situation, and we actually have a comment. I believe it is from McCarthy on Bite 11, kind of setting up what he's going to do.
Congresswoman Omar, her anti-Semitic comments that have gone forward, we're not going to allow her to be on foreign affairs, but we're also going to stand up to what's happening, not just in the halls in Congress, but what's happening into our higher education institutions, the anti-Semitism that's going on these campuses and others. We will investigate that as well and stop this to make sure that America does have the freedoms that we said we would keep, and we will stand up to it as we move forward.
It's interesting because we're handling cases right now for students and faculty that are subject to this anti-Semitism. But this is the person, Congresswoman Omar, who said it's all about the Benjamins, baby. You want to explain that to our audience, what that means?
Well, I mean, she was making reference, but obviously when it comes to all about the Benjamins, all about the money, all about $100 bills, Benjamins, but this specifically tied to, I believe that was to Israel, tied into
exactly what it was about.
AIPAC and all of that. So I think there was some connections there, but she's doubled down on her anti-Israel,
It's a racist stereotype about Jewish people. And
and it happens all the time from her. So this is no shocker. Look, on Friday I was out here saying, I think that there are times when, whether it's the Hunter Biden situation, all that, should that be the first thing we lead with? Does it look good? Is that a good thing to present as the first thing you're going to do? This one I'm fine with, because these are your three actors who are really, like I said, the most egregious, the ones that people can't stand, and the ones who are so far gone, there's no worth even trying to save them.
Well, I mean, look, Swalwell had the Chinese spy situation in his office. Adam Schiff, Harry, said, he had the direct evidence of Russia collusion, which, of course, he never presented because there never was any. And Ilhan Omar, we have a list of statements she's made.
Absolutely. So let me congratulate projected House Leader Kevin McCarthy for doing something.
Yep.
Perhaps for the first time in history, House Republicans are finally growing a backbone. And I think they need to push back at these bad actors that are coming from the Democrat Party, Adam Schiff, Eric Swalwell, and Ilhan Omar. And so if you look at Eric Swalwell, he is a confirmed security risk who has had a celebrated relationship with Christine Fang, a Chinese agent. Adam Schiff, as you correctly point out, has lied consistently about the existence of adducible evidence suggesting that Trump was involved in some Russia collusion narrative when there was exactly zero evidence, and time has proven that. We've gone through a special counsel investigation with Bob Mueller, and no evidence was found. We've had House hearings. We've had CNN investigations. We've had Adam Schiff go on Chuck Todd's failed show and claim that he had evidence when he had no evidence. So I think it's about time for Republicans, by and large, to begin to push back and to learn how to fight effectively.
Yeah, let's remember some of the greatest hits of Representative Omar. So let's first start with this one's back from 2019. Let's play that bite where it specifically talked about some of her more anti-Israel, anti-Semitic statements.
You tweeted about Israel in 2012 during the offensive in Gaza. You wrote, "Israel has hypnotized the world. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel." I wonder just what your message is this morning to Jewish Americans who find that deeply offensive.
That's really a regrettable way of expressing that. I don't know how my comments would be offensive to Jewish Americans.
I don't know. Israel has hypnotized the world. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel. That might be offensive.
Yeah, that sounds pretty much like stereotypical nonsense that
But they
gets
think they could
spewed,
just, they were
racism.
getting away with this with impunity. Now they're not, just because. And Nancy Pelosi, Cece, set the precedent for removing people from committee.
Right. And I agree
So she did something.
with Harry, too, that, this is a good thing for Republicans to do. Too often, Republicans get into power and then, trying to be tolerant, they don't take the actions that they need to take. And barring these people from committees, I think, is the right thing to do. And it's a strong stance.
I think what Cece said, it is that concern that you're always going to have the political flip-flop. But the problem is I don't really see how you break that at this point. When you have a 50-50 split, how do you break the fact that, yes, things are going to be politicized every time they go up? To just get back to normal governing, I think that, one, we have a fictionalized version of what that ever was. I don't think there was ever a time where we were this, where the Congress and the Senate all worked in this sweet, unified place. It never existed. Sure, it was better than it is now, and maybe a little bit more respectful.
There were times when it was much worse than it is now, including in the founding of our country.
So we've romanticized a bit of the past. But I do think there are times where you look at it and go, sure, I would love for us to get beyond this. But the problem is when you have these kind of people in power, you can't get beyond it. When you have people who spew racism and spew stereotypes. I mean, here's what even Omar talking about the September 11th attacks.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
I mean, I love this. Some people did something.
Also, CARE wasn't founded after 9/11. Been around before then.
But, I mean, this idea because some people did something. This was a typical Congresswoman Omar comment, Harry. But look, McCarthy, like you said, you got to give him credit. He's taken this action.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of people thought he wasn't going to do that kind of thing.